Alright guys, so let's dive in. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to install Laravel, and we're going to do that here. So I'm going to install it on this current directory, and while we wait for it to download. So for those of us who don't know how to use Laravel, this is the official website. So this is Laravel. So you go to documentation, then from documentation you choose the version you want. So currently the most recent version is version 7. So this really had a lot of new features that that weren't there before. So all you just need to do is, if you don't have Composer, you make sure you download Composer. Composer is a dependency manager for PHP. Okay, so if you want to download for Windows, you can just use the download button here, and that will be there. So once you have your Composer installed, I already have it on my system, so you can just copy this, and install it on your, you can install it on your, through your terminal. So once you install this, so you install a global variable. With this global variable, you can be able to install Laravel from anywhere in the system. So once you're done with this, okay, which you've already done, so the next thing you're going to do is to create any new Laravel project. You just do Laravel new blog, new whatever you're building. So for our own project, we actually use Composer, and we use this. All right. So that is that. So let's go back to our coding environment. So if you watch, it has downloaded all these files here. Okay, these are the different files that have downloaded. All right, so it's the download process is still on. All right, so the download process is still on. So in order to save our time, I'll skip this whole process till it's done. Yeah, alright guys, the download is done. So these are all the bunch of stuff downloaded. Alright, so basically that's all for now. So the next thing we want to do is we need to understand what we want to build. So for this particular system, I'm going to build authentication for 3 users. So this is a tool called draw.io. In this tool, basically just draw out your flow charts to understand what you're doing. So these are authentication system. Okay, so in this authentication system, I think I need to do something there. So in this authentication system, let's say, okay, in this authentication system we have our login. These are login system. All right, so in this login, once a user login, so it depends on the type of user, so it's being directed to different aspects in the system. All right, so it's been so once the user login, if it's a user, it goes to the user dashboard. If it's an admin, it goes to the admin dashboard. If it's a manager, it goes to the manager dashboard. Okay, so as we progress, we'll come back to this flow chart to improve on it. All right, so one of the tools we will need for this tutorial is XAMPP, because we need it for our database, we need it for our server. So this is XAMPP. All right, so when you install XAMPP, you have access to PHP and the rest of them. So you just download XAMPP and let's go. So once you download it, depending on your system bits, you install, and let's go. So for this particular project, I'm going to create a database. I'm going to create a database for this. So I'm going to create a database, and the database I'm going to create, I'm just going to call it laravel-multi. Yeah, so that's just all I need. So I've just created the database. I don't need to add any tables. So alright guys, so that's all for now. So let's go back to our application. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to populate our migration table. Okay, we're going to populate our migration table. So the key I use there is Control P. In Mac is Command P. So we just search for migration table. So we're going to search for user, create user. So this is a migration table we're looking for. So we're going to populate this table. So we're going to add things like we have name here, we have email. Okay, so let's add one, which is very important. Yeah, let me just duplicate. So we have integer. Okay, so this integer is going to be the row, right? Let's make it nullable. All right, so I actually added nullable because most times if your table row is not on null, you might likely have errors. So it's just advisable or recommended I use that. So what else? Status ID. So let's add and the integer. So status. All right, they're the same as what am I doing? All right, so guys, so we have done that, and basically that is all for now. So we are not adding any other information, and okay, so we are done with our migration table. We just what happened is we just did added some rows, some table rows to it, and that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to migrate our table. So I'm going to create a new terminal for that. So just say php artisan migrate. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. So the first thing first is in our env file, in our environment file, we're supposed to define our database. You know, the database we used was laravel-multi. So if we come back here, look at it, laravel-multi, right? So that's what we're going to add here. So the reason why we had that error is because Laravel was not able to identify our database. So if you have password, you can put your password here. So I'm not using password currently, so I'm just using root as my username and all of that. So which is kind of like the basic settings for XAMPP database. All right, so that is that. So successfully we've created our migration, and that was great. So the next thing we're going to do is Laravel comes with out of the box authentication. So if you go to Laravel and search for authentication, okay. So if you search for authentication, so Laravel comes with an inbuilt authentication system that you can use for your app. So we're going to use that. We're going to use that authentication system right now. To use the latest Laravel UI, all right. The first thing you need to do is you need to install it via Composer. So Composer require laravel/ui. Alright, so you need to install the UI first. So once the UI is done installing, you can now use this new Laravel component to install your authentication. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install our authentication. Great. So we have been able to use the Laravel default authentication that has been created for us. So great, so that's progress. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to test out our app. So we can do PHP artisan save, and let's see. Okay, so we can check our app on this particular URL. So you can either use these or okay. So great. So these are app we just created, and so let's start by creating a simple registration. So let me say John Wick. Let's say John Wick at gmail.com. So the password I'm using is just your QWERTY IOP. Alright, so QWERTY IOP. Alright, so click register. See, we are in. Okay, we are in, and log out. You can register again, log in. So this is like the default login that authentication system that Laravel provides. So we are going to take our project up from here, and we are going to scale it to task for today. Alright guys, so the next stage right now is to create the different controllers for our users. So we're going to create for the admin. So it's going to be PHP artisan make controller admin controller. All right, so that's the first controller. So the next controller we're going to make is stay the same. So we're just going to do manager controller. Okay, so the third one we're going to do is for users. So we're going to call it user controller. All right, so that's basically, so we have successfully created the controllers. So just the way we created these controllers, that's the same way we're going to create the middlewares. So we just say PHP artisan make middleware, and the first middleware we are making is for the admin. So the next middleware we are making is for the manager. Okay, so the last middleware we are making is for the user. All right, so we are done with that, and all right guys, so the next thing we are going to register all our middleware. So just go to kernel. So right here we are going to register all our apps. Okay, so right here we're going to register all our apps. So the first thing we're going to do, just come under here. So say admin. Okay, app, http/middleware. Oh, made a mistake. /middleware/admin in class. Alright, so let's close that. So the next one I'm going to do is for manager. So I'll just come here and say manager, and okay, manager So the last guy I'm going to create for is user and user. Alright guys, so I've successfully registered all my middleware. Okay, so alright guys, so the next move is we are going to create our view. We're going to create our views, and alright guys, so we're going to create our views. I'm just trying to collapse these folders. Alright, so the view is under resources, view. So we actually have 3 different users. So I'm just going to create the first one for admin. So everything relating to the admin will be here. So the next one I'm going to create is a manager. So everything relating to the manager is going to be here. So the last one I'm going to create is users. Alright, so I'm not really going to do much. So inside the user, just going to create index.blade.php. index.blade.php. So the next one I'm going to create is still the same, index.blade.php. And the last one for admin, stay index.blade.php. Alright guys, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to copy all the HTML codes inside the home blade, and I'm just going to copy them to the different place. So I'm just going to, you're logged in admin. On manager, I'll just say you're logged in manager. Okay. Then on users, I'm just say you're logged in user. Alright. Okay guys, so that's all about the views. So the next thing we're going to do now is we are going to go to our root folders. So we're going to create all our roots right now. So web, and let's go down here. So in our root folder, the first thing we want to do is first of all, let's comment this because we won't be needing it anymore. Alright, so this is the first thing we're going to do. We're just going to say roots. Alright, get /admin, that's the URL we want to visit. So the next thing we're going to do is the name of our controller, which is what? Admin. The controller for admin is admin controller. So that's just basically what we're going to do. And we're just going to say index, though we have not created this method yet. Alright, so we are going to give this root a name, which is admin, and we're going to give it a middleware. So the name of the middleware is what? Admin as well. Alright guys, so we have been able to create this one, so let's just duplicate it and move on. So here we have manager. Here we have, so we turn this to manager because that's what we named the controller. And here as well, to say manager, and here we just say manager. Okay, so likewise here we just say user. Here we say user. So okay, sorry, it's supposed to be small. Alright, user and user. Alright guys, so basically this just it for the roots. So we are done with our roots. So a little bit recap. So what do? We just get the URL. This is the URL for the page. This is the controller for this particular URL, the admin URL. This is the name that we are giving to our roots, and this is the middleware for these roots. Alright guys, alright, so let's move on. So the next thing we'll be achieving right away is we'll be editing the middleware. Okay, so the different middlewares we created, so we're going to edit them. Alright, so let's start with the admin middleware. So in this middleware, so the first thing first we're going to do is inside this function we are going to put an if statement to check. Alright, so we're going to say if auth check. Okay, if auth check, what you're going to do is return. So it's going to redirect us to, so it's going to redirect us back to the login page. So what it means is if you have not logged in and you try to access any of those pages, any of the admin or manager or user pages, it's going to automatically take you back to the login page. So you must what? Log in. So the other one we're going to do is we're going to say if now the user is logged in, which is auth. So let's start with the user. Okay, the user is logged in and his role, so we're going to give it a priority. So for admin is going to have row 1. Yeah, so admin is going to have row 1. So if it's row 1, so let's say row 1 is equals to admin. Alright, so row 1 is equals to admin. Alright, so if it is equals to row 1, the thing it's going to do is it's going to take us to the admin page. So that's what it's going to do. So return the current request. Alright, so let's duplicate this. So if it's row 2 is manager. Row 2 is manager. Okay, row 2 is manager, and so if it's if the user have the role of a manager and is trying to access the admin dashboard, this is what it's going to do. It's going to redirect this particular user. Okay, it's going to redirect this particular user to just going to redirect this person. Alright, so as I was saying, if the user is manager, let's say when the user logged in, his role is the role of a manager, and now the user is trying to go and access the admin dashboard. Okay, the system will automatically return this user back to the manager dashboard. Do you understand? So that's why. Now remember, in this place we did name of root, right? So we gave it admin, manager, and user. So this is where it's coming to play now. So we're just going to give him the name of the root. So it's going to return back to what? Manager. All right. So that is that. Then row 2. This row 2. Okay. So we're just going to still duplicate this for the very last time. So if the user is user 3, it means that the user is what? Is it just a regular user? So if it's 3, okay, it's going to return the user back to user, right? That's what we use here, right? So it's just going to return the user back to user. So this is this for the admin middleware. Okay, so that's that for the admin middleware. So the next thing we're going to do is every code that is here, all right, just to save time, every code that is here, you're just going to copy it and take it to the manager middleware. So in the manager middleware, just as we did there, we're going to paste it here. So now we're just going to do some changes. So what we are saying is when the okay, I didn't close this. I didn't close this. Sorry guys, I didn't close this, so I don't want to have error later. Alright, so now just the way we did for the admin. So right now, so if the admin is logged in and is trying to go and access the dashboard of the manager, so it's going to return it back to the admin. So we're just going to remove this and replace it with this. So what happens is if the user that is logged in is admin and the user is trying to go and access manager, the manager dashboard, is going to return the user back to the admin. So same for this one. So but if the user is a manager, okay, the user will be able to access the manager dashboard. All right guys, so we are almost done. So for the user middleware, we still do the same thing. Okay, sorry about that. So for the user middleware, so we're still going to do the same thing, and we've already gone through this before. Okay, so for the user middleware, we're just going to do the same thing that we did a while ago. So we're just going to replace this. So if the user, if it's a user that logged in, is going to take the user to user page. Then if it's a manager that's trying to access a user dashboard, is going to return the manager back to the manager dashboard. Alright guys, so this is just where the logic is. Alright, so now we are done with the middleware. So let me close all this stuff right here. So the last phase of this tutorial is to edit the controllers, the different controllers. All right, so now before we go to the controller, which is the last part of this tutorial, so the first thing first we're going to do is in our admin middleware, if you notice, we use this class here and we didn't import it, so that would have given us an error. So we're just going to add it here. So use auth. Okay, as simple as that. So we're going to repeat this process for the three middlewares. So manager, okay, so simple, then user, okay. Alright, so now the next thing we want to do is our login. Alright, so if you go back to our draw.io, if you go back to our draw.io, you find out that the login, okay, the login is the one that directs you to everywhere in the system based on your user role. So we need to edit our login controller. So we're just going to come here and say login controller. Alright, so this is the login controller. So inside the login controller, we're going to do some stuff here. Alright, so under this protected redirected to, so we're going to create a public function, and this function we call it redirect. Okay, redirect to, and okay. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to write a switch statement. What we are just checking in this switch statement, we are just saying if the user is logged in, auth user, no, okay. If the user is logged in, so these are case 1. So the first case we check in is the admin. Okay, so we are returning okay, so we are saying that if the user role, okay, we are saying that if the user role is in line with this, if the user role is for admin, so you should take the user to admin. Alright, else if case 2, so we are checking the next case now. Case 2 is okay, if the user is what, manager, so this, so if the person that logged in is the manager, it should redirect the user to manager. Alright, so there's something we didn't do here, so we didn't return, so that would have given us an error. So we're just going to say return this redirect to. Alright, so return this. Alright, so the next one we're going to do is just click the returns. Return this redirect to. Alright, so break. So the next one we're going to do for is the user. So in order to save quality time, so case 3, and that's user. Alright, so guys, so now the last one, the last but not the least, is the, so if everything fails, alright, so if the everything fails, you should return the user back to the login. So we're just going to say this redirect to, so redirect the user to login. Okay, redirect the user to login, and just return this redirect to. Alright guys, so basically this is it. Okay, so this is the modification, and that is that. So the very last part of this amazing tutorial is our different controllers. So the first one we're going to do is the admin controller. So admin controller, yeah, that's it. So first thing we're just going to do, just going to say public, create a public function index. Alright, now this index we created, remember this index, yeah, you said admin controller index, so this is the index, this is the function we're creating now. Alright, so next thing we're going to do, we're just going to return view. Okay, okay, so view, we're going to return, we created a folder called admin.index. Alright, so that's the view we're creating. Very simple, we're not adding much. Alright, so if we go to manager controller, so we just change this to manager. Alright, so if we go to user controller, we just change this to users. Alright guys, yeah, that's it. So let's test it out. Alright, let's go. Alright guys, so let's test the application out. So login, I think the stuff we used was John Wick, right? So okay, so we are logged in, but nothing is showing here. Oh, so I know where that error is. So in our controller, we did not return the views. We only created them, but we didn't return them. All right, so users return. Okay, so if we go back to wherever we were. Alright, so you see you're logged in admin. We are in the admin. So if you try to do manager, it won't work. If you try to do user, it won't work. So good to go. So log out. So if you go to manager, so this manager, and see still the same admin. Okay, to redirect you back to manager, user to redirect you back to manager. Alright, so if we test user, and so that's it. So for the rows, if we go to our database, so these are their different rows, 1, 2, 3. So so basically guys, that's that. Alright, thank you for joining my class. Okay, this is basically my first class, and you know, as time goes on, things will begin to go much better. So if you have any requests for any videos or any tutorial you'd like to learn, please just shoot me a mail. Alright, and I'll get back to you. Thank you, and see you later.